everybody, this is Melissa, your free range psychic. Today is June 4th, 2023. It's Sunday, and I am going to do a past life video as promised on Erik Prince. And this is the possibility, I should say, that he is a reincarnation of Richard Glueks, or Glueks. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've seen it spelled both G-L-U-C-K-S and G-L-U-E-C-K-S. And Richard Glueks was a high-ranking Nazi. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to be using the Gilded Tarot from the Easy Tarot deck, if you're trying to find it. And the cards themselves are by Ciro Marchetti, but the Easy Tarot was written by somebody else. I can't remember, but just Google the Easy Tarot and it will come up. And then we're going to have an oracle card, and this is in honor of the beautiful full moon last night, which was a strawberry moon. And oh my goodness, did anybody else see how red and gorgeous that moon was? Oh my goodness. And it was strawberry red. I was enthralled by it. This is the deck, Queen of the Moon Oracle, and this is by Stacey De Marco. So when I get into past lives, it can be a bit onerous because either there's too little information or too much information, and I have to figure out how much I want to subject you guys to. Often I'll read from articles, and I didn't want to do it this time, but oh my God, it's not about Richard Glueks, because I have a very short paragraph on him that I'll read you, but Erik Prince, how much evil can there be in one man over time? It just blew my mind. So I picked certain articles that I will include in the description below, okay, so you can click on them. Richard Glueks, I'm going to stay on that pronunciation. I included photographs of him in that intro, and so you could compare and contrast with photographs of Erik Prince, because often, even though I don't see it immediately, I begin to see the similarities between the two. My guides are the ones who are showing me these past lives, identifying them, and sometimes I'll argue with them and say, no, this couldn't be this. Maybe he's this other person. He looks kind of more like him, but then they direct me back, and that's kind of what happened with this reading. And they're adamant that he was Richard Glueks in his past life, or his most current past life. They did give me 3 tarot. Usually I'll do a whole Celtic cross, but the 2 Justins, I didn't pick a tarot. This time I picked 3 that really kind of culminate or sum up, or they're the culmination of the 2 lives, I should say, of Richard Glueks and Erik Prince. Well, okay, let's start with Richard Glueks, short paragraph. I got this on line. I can't remember what website, but I'll see if I can track it down for you. But this is just really similar to other ones you can find. Apologize to whoever published it if I can't find you guys again, but I would have given you credit if I had remembered. Okay, Richard Glueks, 1889, it was his birth. 1945 was his death. He was a major general charged with participation in the mass murder of Jews in the Final Solution. A native of Dusseldorf, he served as an artillery officer during World War I, and then he became a merchant. After Hitler came to power, he became a member of the Nazi Party, and I think in that meantime, he was living various places, not necessarily Germany, but he moved back to Germany. So in 1936, he's appointed chief of staff under Theodor Eicke, inspector of concentration camps, thus succeeding him in 1940 and 1941. He became head of, it's called Amtsgruppe, I can't say this at all, AMTSGRUPPE, Amtsgruppe, maybe, which supervised the concentration camps. Glueks was responsible for the establishment of Auschwitz. In other readings, I saw that he suggested Auschwitz, the place that it was built, the construction of it, etc., to Hitler. And also he oversaw the construction of the gas chambers. And not just the construction of them, I think that also he oversaw their objective, which was to gas people to death who no longer had a purpose working in Auschwitz. And also, although it's not in this little blurb about him, he oversaw the medical experimentation in Auschwitz, according to those articles. Under his jurisdiction, exploitation of prisoner labor was introduced in the camps. He died in Flensburg. Here it says seemingly by suicide, but I've read it in other biographies that it was most definitely an ingestion of potassium cyanide that led to his death. He committed suicide. There's an interesting article or interview with Rudolf Hesse, or is it Hess, who was the commandant over Auschwitz. He worked with him. I think that picture of the two men in the car are those two men. Forgive me if it's Hesse or Hesse. And Rudolf did not like him very much, and he just, oh my goodness, he described him as a coward, as somebody who was always running around worried that he was going to upset Hitler, and upset if people escaped because that would draw down the wrath of Hitler, etc. I don't know how true that account was, because I had a feeling Rudolf did not like him very much. There was kind of a bit of a enmity going on between them. I mean, he might have even hated him. And instrumental in the development of Auschwitz and everything that went on after Auschwitz was built. Okay. So we turn to Erik Prince, who was born in June 1969. He's the brother of Betsy DeVos, our beloved former director of education, or secretary of the Department of Education under Trump, where she really literally wanted to tear down that department, tear it down and get rid of public schools so she could reign supreme over her charter schools and the implementation of fundamental Christian values in schools. So he's her brother. Not the apple does not fall far from the apple, because there's probably both apples on the apple tree. Because he's also a conservative Christian, and that is a driving force for him. And when we say conservative, we mean fundamentalist, we mean evangelical, we mean the ones that backed Trump to get into the White House so they could get rid of Roe versus Wade, and they could implement their agenda. Became powerful brokers in government to get those Supreme Court members on board, right? Nominated to try to force their beliefs into the public domain. You know, DeVos wanting to get rid of public schools, just wanted private schools, and really wanted Christianity to be at the forefront of that. Erik Prince's drive to eradicate all members of the Islamic faith, and that started way back with Blackwater in Iraq, and aiding and abetting these illicit wars against countries that had large Islamic populations. He's very similar to Bannon. They really see themselves as these dark princes, these anti-heroes who are going to, like Thanos or something, who are in the Marvel movies, who the Avengers, right, who are going to bring this glorious reign of Christianity, just like the Nazis believed in their 1,000-year Reich idea. So you have the reign of the white supremacist, It's identical, and they just because of the ends of what they want to do, it justifies whatever means they bring to the table. And it seems like the more dastardly, the better. And Prince is involved in so much criming, even it's alleged human trafficking, drug trafficking, like Ollie North, added to the illicit arms dealing, with one of the most recent wanting to establish a private army in Ukraine, like a $10 billion army. And these articles trace all his different projects over time. And now, as I mentioned in the other video, he's wanted for I don't know if everybody saw it, but I did a video, the last video I did 2 weeks ago, on an update on Erik Prince, and he's wanted in Austria for trying to bring down the U.S.-supported Libyan government. And he lives in Dubai, so whether he is going to be able to be extradited, I don't think they have a treaty to extradite, but my guides say that he's not safe, even though he thinks he's safe in Dubai. And he's good friends with bin Said, who's the autocrat there, and is still aiding and abetting Said, I believe, in his wars against different countries and bringing in illicit forces and arms, etc. I don't know. I'll tell you what I think. We're going to have that little tarot reading, the 3-card reading, and I think it's implicit in there. It's fascinating to read about his Project Veritas and his attempt to aid Trump in covert means with spies. God knows. I don't even know if we know how exactly everything he did. We don't right now, but it's crazy stuff. Many movies will be made about it, I'm sure. But I can see the Glueks and Prince just both believing in the exact same thing, in genocide and in the rise of the white supremacist and Nazism and all of that. They're one. They seem like one soul. So I encourage you to go ahead and click on the articles that I'll include regarding Prince in the description box below. And if you want to get into the minutia of it, there's just too much information to give you right now. There's so much. But as we get into the tarot reading, which we're going to do right now, we'll see what the gist of it's going to be. So the devil is, of course, the card that Richard Glueks and Erik Prince share unadulterated evil. Just there's nothing that holds them back from evil, whatever deed. And it seems like the worse the better, and this is emphasized in the 5 of Swords. But these are princes, right? These are they're narcissists with the belief that they are noble because of the mission that they're carrying out, which is genocide. And the outcome card here is the 10 of Swords. So, as we know, Richard Glueks killed himself via cyanide, and what's coming up for Prince is not looking very good. Okay, so you might not be able to extradite the man, but you can get his money. You can get at his resources, which are not all in Dubai. I'm sure they're all over the place. And I believe that's what they're going to do. I think that's what's going to be on the attack, are his resources. And so much so that he is destroyed. One of the interesting things I found regarding Prince, and I think Glueks is maybe similar if you believe in the Hess or Hess interview, which is, they're not too bright. I mean, you'd think that with all the nefariousness that they can, successfully carry out their plans, but in the this article that I have right in front of me from The Intercept, it was 2019, it just talks about how almost everything that he tries to do just ends up in failure. Even though he's trying to do all these things, somehow they all come falling down. And so that was seeded throughout this article, and I found that really kind of humorous. So even though they are very scary and they have a lot of power, etc., they are both self-sabotaged, apparently. Okay, so let me know what you think about the possibility that Erik Prince is reincarnation of Nazi Richard Glueks. And I always ask that you research more. There is always so much more there. I have a small amount of time, and I don't want to be spending hours and hours just reading all these articles that I found. Although I would like, in a way I would like to, because they're really fascinating. I encourage you to read them. On a different note, I am going to read our oracle card for us from the Queen of Moon Oracle, and the card that we have is a full moon card, and it's power. Full moon, power. Step into your power. Shine brightly. Do not hide who and what you are. The time is right to attract big things for yourself. Ancestral energy is important. Open your mind to larger possibilities. Big magic can be wrought. I have power. It is real. Power. Okay, thank you for bearing with me on this video. I hope you found it interesting. So people ask, why are the Nazis incarnating at this time? Well, my belief is it's just such large collective karma, including people reincarnating from the Civil War, and also from the, to other times when there's been this polarization of light and dark and good and evil. The battle continues to be played out. It has not been resolved. The Civil War was not resolved. Even though the Nazis were defeated, they still continue to seed themselves into various powerful positions in various governments, and as we can see, the agenda is still at large, and we're still dealing with it. And you look at DeSantis and Trump and Putin, and it's the same old. So this is an opportunity for the collective human race to resolve it. So we have also on the other side reincarnations of some amazing people, powerful people at those times who helped defeat the authoritarians, the rise of the autocrats, the implementation of fascism and Nazism. It was defeated by these people, and they have now also found their ways into powerful positions in the world. And I've done past lives on those guys too, if you want to look back in my past lives. But that's why these themes keep on emerging, because we haven't resolved them yet, and we need to resolve them. Hopefully we will this time around. Okay, you guys, I'll be back next week. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.